Flagstaff move, Janelle and Christine. I've never respected Robyn because she has been disingenuous from the start. My respect for Mary dwindled due to her annoying behavior over the bed and breakfast purchase. Initially, I had immense respect for Janelle and Christine, but that changed when they agreed to uproot their children and move to Flagstaff. Janelle, who is supposed to be financially savvy, agreed to it. It's disheartening how they didn't stand up for their kids. Okay, rant over. Janelle's sudden change of heart regarding uprooting Gabe after seeing what happened to Hunter was baffling. She told him he could enjoy the outdoors once they moved. I always felt like I missed something there. As much as I believe Janelle and Christine were the best people in the family, they really neglected their kids' feelings regarding the move. They seemed to give up so easily. One minute, they were adamant about not moving, and the next, they were happy about it. Christine even wanted to put her house up for sale immediately. It was disheartening to see them grovel for Kody's approval. Additionally, there's speculation that the move was so Robyn could keep tabs on Dayton while he's at Northern Arizona University, and for Kody to sell those houses to regain family money. I can't understand why Christine and Janelle didn't resist harder. They should have predicted Kody's ulterior motives, having known him for so long. If Kody's real reason was Dayton, and he didn't disclose that to the other wives, then the reasons he did provide were not acceptable. Yet, they quickly got on board. I've been rewatching the show, and I'm on season 7. Right after the commitment ceremony, when they were settling into life near each other, everything seemed perfect. I remember some of their reasons for leaving Nevada. Christine mentioned it was windy and not pretty. Those aren't valid reasons to uproot your families and leave the houses you carefully put together. I lived in Vegas for 7 years and even saw some of the family in person. The area where they built their houses was on the edge, and as more houses are built, the wind issue would diminish. When I get to the Flagstaff part, I'm going to pay more attention this time. I found it so interesting that Mary was the one mom who told Kody straight to his face that if any of the other moms wanted to stay for their kids, she would back them up. She even laughed at him about it. That was so brave of her. I hated seeing how Kody manipulated them into leaving. He split them up, taking each to Arizona individually. They were likely charmed by the area and by Kody on their individual trips. We never saw the women have a real conversation about the kids with each other without him. And based on what they said on camera, I wonder if they ever did. They should have been in a group chat immediately, discussing how they couldn't do that to the teens. If the women were too ingrained in their religious principles to go against Kody, I wish the kids had tried to emancipate themselves and live with Maddie or local friends for 2 years. Stacia from Married at First Sight season 15 did it. I know there are plenty of reasons the kids wouldn't want to do that, but just the threat of it might have made a difference. I'm doing a first watch of the series, and I think they might have been financially coerced or threatened into going. Kody was on all the mortgages in Las Vegas, and their finances are commingled, so that likely influenced their decision. Based on the timing, they probably made money on their homes due to the equity. Also, I think once Janelle saw Flagstaff, she wanted to move. I don't understand the Flagstaff move. I'm a first-time watcher, finishing up season 13 where they're moving to Flagstaff, and I can't wrap my brain around how any of them thought it was a good idea. I know it was intended to be a wise financial decision, but before they even moved, they knew Flagstaff was more expensive. Clearly, it's detrimental to most of the kids. Why did the wives jump on board, aside from Robyn, who had Dayton going there already? Weather and trees don't seem to justify all the damage. There hasn't been an actual honest answer from any of the wives. However, Peyton confirmed in a blogger interview that they all moved because Robyn wanted to be near Dayton when he went to college. Even with that, the move was just foolish. I personally think it was the best way for Kody and Robyn to get their greedy hands on the wives' money and property since his name is on everything. I'm sorry, but what a ridiculous reason. I understand Dayton may need more support, but uprooting a dozen other kids for one, knowing from experience some of them would have a hard time. Wow, Kody wanted the money from the OG Vegas houses for himself and Robyn. Look what happened. Mary and Janelle paid the down payment on their big expensive home. Plus, Robyn couldn't let Dayton go to college by himself. Poor kid wanted to get away from his overbearing mother, and she followed him. Christine was the smart one when she got her Flagstaff home in her name only. I don't think anyone but Robyn thought it was a good idea because all she cared about was being close to Dayton. Even Kody eventually admitted it was costing them more. It never made any sense other than to give Kody the power to test his wives' loyalty to him and encroach on more of their resources. The move from Vegas was a blatant asset grab by Kody and Robyn. They wanted their hands on as much of the Vegas house equity as they could get. The reason they chose Flagstaff was because Robyn wanted to follow Dayton. Kody went from having his name on one house in Vegas to having his name on Christine's house in Flagstaff and later on Robyn's McMansion. Additionally, his name is on all 4 lots on Coyote Pass. He transitioned from having his name on one asset to having it on all the assets. Pretty slick deal for him. Robyn, who could be compared to Joan Crawford reincarnated, and Kody wanted to be where the money was. Besides, Dayton was there. They thought they could extract more money from the original 3 wives. One of the production team members or possibly a producer lived nearby. It was all about the money. Denial isn't just a river in Leahy/Vegas/Flagstaff. Season 6, Episode 9. Sister Wives on the Ropes. I haven't seen this episode in years, and I think my mouth was open the whole time. With the advantage of hindsight, this episode is pretty stunning. The family decides to participate in a polygamy panel at UNLV, arranged by an anthropology professor who later sends 2 students to live with the Browns for a while. Christine's aunt Kristen will be there on the opposing side, and Christine is an emotional wreck. The professor states that he has worked with many polygamist families and that, in his opinion, the success of a polygamist family depends on the husband. More than once, poverty is mentioned by the anti-polygamy group, and something Janelle and Christine said blew me away. Audience member to the wives. Do you have the financial wherewithal to take money out to take care of your children if you had to escape from Kody, or does he have to give you permission? Janelle, smiling, I make my own paycheck, and I have my own bank account. I don't share with Kody. And this from Christine is particularly prophetic. Christine, I understand your concern in wondering if we're free because, given the stereotypes you've seen, you might wonder that. Kody specifically says, look, if you're not happy, I will give you money and you can leave. If what is holding you back is money, that means nothing. You get your freedom. It sure didn't play out like that, did it? Christine and Janelle were either hugely in denial or just plain lying. They've talked numerous times about the family pot. I'm pretty sure Janelle used that exact term. And Janelle and Mary certainly didn't get any money when they decided to leave the circus that is Kody Brown. I think it was denial for the original 3 wives, but just plain lying by Kody. He wasn't giving up any of his money to let any of those ladies leave. Janelle, in particular, seemed to believe in the family pot, probably because she used to be on good terms with Kody and didn't seem to want anything too costly. In my opinion, Kody always thought of it as his money. If they were loyal, he might allow them to spend a few dollars. I wonder what the original 3 wives would say now if they had to rewatch that episode. I'd like to see them do a talkback episode on this specific one, watching themselves and commenting on what they'd say now. Aurora and Brianna terrifying, Season 17, Episode 11. When Robyn's family goes over to say goodbye to Christine, Aurora, and Brianna are staring in a way that looks terrifying and scary. Christine makes a comment that she thinks Robyn's kids are mad, And then Robyn's confessional is like, no, they're not mad. They're the innocent part in all this. But I just don't buy it. They genuinely are shooting looks of daggers. Did anyone else think this, or am I overanalyzing? Robyn most definitely told them Christine doesn't want anything to do with any of us, even though that's not what Christine even said. The girls are innocent, all right. Innocent and manipulated by their mother. No, I'm sure Robyn said something to them about why Christine was leaving. She probably told them she hated them and never wanted them in the family, but they had to go say goodbye to support Kody and for Truly's sake. Christine hates us, and she never wants to see us again, but we're going to go over there to show her that we stand with Daddy. Robyn, probably. Let's make Kody's nightmare a reality. Why exactly are we as viewers funding Kody and Robyn's lifestyle? They are two of the worst people on television, and I for one have made the decision to stop watching any new seasons of The Southwest. The OG3 all have different avenues of income, so them losing the show wouldn't be devastating. Robyn has nothing. Who knows what Kody actually does besides shop and got out to eat? After seeing some of the most recent grievances of the children, I can't continue to support the show. Even though it's a small decision, I'm not paying for D+ anymore and supporting the show or network. Make K+R sell their shitty art, gaudy jewelry, trashland, and cars. Hurt them where it counts, their pockets. The fact that nothing has changed for Kody after tragically losing a son he was estranged with for the sake of his mistress and her family is sickening. Fuck them and fuck this show. Make Kody's biggest fear a reality: poverty. #boycott sister wives. I've watched since the beginning. I will see them out the door. They will be the masters of their own demise. They have never had to save their grocery money to go on a trip. They fill their lives with materialism. Gaudy art, flashy jewelry, expensive cars, a big house, 3 kids in university, 2 in private school. Money seems to slip through their fingers like water through a sieve. I doubt their income from gun shows is enough to sustain their lavish lifestyle that they've grown accustomed to. Perhaps TLC is finished with their constant drama, a sort of twisted form of charity. I don't watch reality TV to find admirable people, and I don't find anyone in this family particularly likable. If you feel strongly about not watching, then simply don't. I support far worse people than Kody every time I buy gas or shop at a big box retail store. You make a valid point, but on the other hand, they've been exploiting their children all along. 3 were born on camera, and 2 gave birth on camera. They grew up with viewers critiquing them through their teenage years. Their private or embarrassing moments became income for their parents, TLC, and the producers. By the latest season, their father was openly criticizing them on camera. Was anyone really surprised that one of them took his own life? Putting kids on reality TV is a form of abuse, and we've all been complicit in it. It's a bit late to start questioning the ethics of the programming now. Kody, Robyn, and Christine sought fame and money, and they got it. The children who weren't born on the show are now adults, having experienced a childhood shaped by their family's decisions. Most are probably better off than if they had grown up in their religious community and been married off in polygamous unions, but surely they bear emotional scars, even those who seem happy and successful. From the beginning, it was exploitation. Perhaps all reality TV involves exploitation, especially when children are involved. But what's left to watch now? They've aired their family's breakdown on television. Maybe that's what they truly wanted, even if they couldn't admit it to themselves. Did Kody ever truly desire 4 wives, or was it always just about the next wife? Miri likely never enjoyed being in a plural marriage, despite her love for the children. Christine clearly struggled with not being the last wife, and Robyn simply disliked sharing, period. Janelle appears to be the most suited to plural life, yet even she admits the first 20 years were challenging. Perhaps she would have been happier as the sole wife to a man who didn't live in such a structured arrangement. or maybe even in a conventional marriage, had she found the right partner. Maybe TLC acted like a magic genie, granting their wishes without revealing the true cost. Personally, I've grown tired of Kody, Robyn, and Christine for quite some time now. Meri and Janelle are also starting to wear thin. Many of us once thought Janelle was the sensible one, but that hasn't proven entirely true. Meri should focus on her recovery without trying to commercialize it. Most of the children no longer wish to be part of the show. While TLC will likely continue to milk it as long as people watch, it feels like the end. The thing is, they earn money from filming, subsidized by advertisers and subscriptions to platforms like Max, where the show is housed currently. Reducing their streaming numbers would have minimal impact. In this post alone, many have expressed intent to continue watching, as I will. I'm admittedly drawn to trash TV, having seen worse than Kody and his antics. Engagement across platforms like TikTok, YouTube, Reddit, Twitter, and others only boosts the show's popularity, and networks track these metrics closely. Personally, I discovered Sister Wives through a YouTube video years ago. So if you decide to boycott, it would likely mean cutting all ties with anything related to Sister Wives, which would include canceling Max and not watching videos and recaps on other platforms, Reddit included. Just by posting this, you have indirectly supported the show. Maybe not financially, but it can easily drive people to watch, which it most certainly does. I am just saying the more people bitch about and post about how awful the show is, many will now tune in to see the why. To do a true boycott, you have to cut it out completely. It is why many boycotts never work. For everyone that boycotts, more will tune in to see the reasons. I think the show is winding down regardless. There are no more Sister Wives Christine Meri, and most of the kids do not live in Flagstaff. Robyn doesn't appear to allow them to film in her house. Her kids are not interesting except for the wild child Ari. Kody is estranged from almost all of his kids. What are they going to film? Plus, the show is so far behind real life. We already saw Christine and David get married. I don't think watching their courtship will be that engaging. We already know Mykelti had twins. I feel like there's a post-rallying for a boycott of the show like every other day. But you're still in the sub? Just don't watch it. I haven't heard anything about how Kody is handling Garrison's passing. I just hear people saying he hasn't changed, but I haven't read any articles saying he's trying to change, nor that he's not trying to change. I don't want to assume anything, and even most of the articles are just gossip. I can only hope for the family's sake he's trying to make amends instead of demanding they come crawling back to him and Robyn for forgiveness for misbehaving. What drives me crazy more than anything is his view that he was the patriarch. He said, "No one is being controlled. We all have a voice," until it doesn't work for him. Then he has to fight for control, which is weird to the OG3, because he never acted like this before, so they bailed. If you can watch Mykelti's latest Patreon, if not VT it, and you can find clips, he hasn't changed. He also missed her birthday last month. The show is so far behind. Season 19 consists of Christine dating David, Mykelti having the twins, and David and Kody meeting for the first time. Mykelti said that they won't be addressing the passing of Garrison, and in their talking heads, have to address anything involving Garrison in the present tense. If this is actually true, then I will have to watch clips on TikTok. I wish they would at least bring the season more current, especially since all the stuff that has happened this year with the family. I say the same thing, but then I cave and watch. I'm weak, but I do think people should not be buying Kody's cameos, even if a joke, because it does support him and Robyn directly. Of course, my opinion, and it's not stopping anyone. I just hate people feed into it, and he will never be in poverty that way. Holding Janelle and Meri's land hostage, I just have no tolerance for that. I know I can't rewatch anymore because Garrison, it would be really sad to see him. I don't want to see them act about his death either. I really don't want to watch them grieve. I can't imagine a new season would do anything but offer that. I'm going to try not to watch, but we will see how that goes. Virtual Brown family activities during COVID. I'd like one of the tell-all hosts to ask Robyn why she didn't insist on planning lots of fun virtual activities, game nights, Kody date nights with wives, family Zoom parties, etc. during COVID. The Browns could have spent just as much time with each other virtually, if not more than IRL, if they'd made any effort to coordinate between the wives and kids. There are tons of creative ways to stay close and have fun with fam/friends while social distancing. If Robyn really cared about those relationships, she would have convinced Kody to do more to preserve and maintain them while their household isolated. Thinking of that time, Kody asked her if Miri, the obvious rule follower, could help with Ari and Sol during the family get-together at CP, because Big Robs didn't want to be the bad guy with the littles about social distancing. All 4 families were there. My memory fails what event it was. Robyn hanging on to the truck door going, "No, no, no, something, something, something," translation BS, BS, about how it would look to others if Miri could hang with the kids. But of course, there were only 3 campfires. Let's let loyal Mary look like a freaking fool in a camping chair, who followed the rules, waiting for others to give her food. Season 16 was the moment we saw the man behind the curtain, pretending to be the all-knowing Ozzy. Seriously, fuck Robyn and the horse she rode in on. The entire season was the glaring ostracism of everyone who didn't live in her princess castle. The woman is hypocritical and as dishonest as Greedy is now. At least then, he tried to get them together thinking Robyn would reward Mary's loyalty, but no, she had to control every narrative and interaction. I never liked Robyn before, and this is when I began to despise her. Alice must be so proud of that little hoe climbing to the top of Greedy Mountain, for real. Yeah, even my friends and I were watching movies together on stream platforms. There's interactive games to play remotely as well. But this is Robyn, the same one that ruined the kids group text message group with her nonsense. She'd just find a reason to fight with them and withdraw even if they had been keeping in touch. She's never wanted her kids to be around the other wives and think of them as mothers. Nor did she want them to be truly bonded with their step/half siblings either. She's too protective of only her brood to ever want any of that, and has perhaps unknowingly sabotaged it at every turn. They had a whole bunch of acres they could have had BBQs on and stuff, and still maintain distance. They could have still stood 6 feet away, but at least been able to have a meal or talk face to face. She couldn't even be bothered to point to a family photo and say, "This is Gabe," and "This is Savannah," etc., so Ariella could remember who her siblings were. This sounds like way too much work for her. Christine said they go hiking, and that's outdoor activities that the CDC said was safe. I tell you, I never walked so much in my life when we could go out again for walks. Kody went 3 X's, and once he was babysitting Robyn's kids. He said, "Hiking isn't really my thing." Couldn't he just suck it up? He wants his kids and wives to just suck up his rules. Can't he play nice? He said, "The act is easy to be a husband," but he didn't even try. I am so fortunate that my adult daughters and my retired mother live with me, because 3 years after COVID isolation, I am just finding out that family Zoom parties and virtual game nights and date nights were a thing. Ugh, sounds hellish. I'm sure Robyn didn't insist on planning such soul-sucking activities for the same reason the other 3 wives didn't. It genuinely sounds awful.